With her datapad in hand, Mika quickly began to make her way to the trade center, where she quickly located the Axanon Sales Center. Axanon was a primary dealer for spacefaring ships. It was a company that produced basically everything when it came to building and upgrading spaceships. Weaponry, armor, systems. If it went on a ship, they made it, sold it, and most likely created it themselves, or purchased the rights to do so. They were the finest producer of every kind of equipment you could possibly imagine. There were, of course, cheaper places that Mika could have gone in order to try to purchase some weaponry for exovol. However, the weapons that you can purchase from other places can often find themselves falling short of requirement, needing constant repair, malfunctions, lack of durability, and countless other problems. There were, of course, other reputable dealers, but Axanon was by far the best. Normally, their price tag might intimidate. However, the sum that Mika just got offered for this job was substantial enough to ferret away any of her concerns about financial requirement. There was no time for being lax. She needed to have the best available. There was no way that her first mission was going to end up with her being destroyed or on the hit list for an entire planet. After talking to the person behind the service desk and collecting an information pad and taking a seat to scan through their merchandise, Mika found herself overwhelmed with options, having little time to think things over. She did have an appointment to meet the new possible members of her crew, which was also something that she would have to take into account. Currently, Exovol's design was fairly small and could only accommodate about 30 people at maximum capacity. But in order to truly stand as a fierce ship, she'd need to expand it. So, in order to do that, Mika made sure to order a large amount of marasite steel, the highest quality metal that you can acquire. This metal would serve well for expanding the ship, increasing its interior fortitude and structural stability, helping move the outer frame and stabilize the interior, adding more room for more crew members. This would of course be a process, but with Exovol's abilities, it wouldn't be anywhere near as lengthy as it normally would be. For any other ship, increasing your size is basically impossible. But after spending a great deal of time on board Exovol and finding out what it was capable of, Mika knew her ship could do it. She had already made arrangements with the space station to use one of their construction docks, and set the meeting place for the new suspected crew members to be in that construction dock. She ordered the largest one that was available, which would give her more than enough room to expand Exovol's form. Now left with the choice of weaponry, she flipped through the screen, looking at all the countless weapons, armaments, and computer systems. Mika had a fair amount of money to spend on upgrading Exovol. However, she did have a budget limit. She also needed to be able to pay the new crew members, because they weren't going to work for free. So, she set aside enough funds to pay about 80 crew members for upwards of 6 months. This took a heavy chunk out of her overall spending limit. However, assured payment would be necessary for quality crew members. Sitting there, rapidly flipping through the screen, trying to make the best of what she had, Mika made countless purchases. As she made the purchases, she noted that there seemed to be a special digitized message on her data pad indicating that the planetary authorities had put a special rush on all orders made by her. "That guy works fast," Mika said, flipping through the screen. "Just like he promised. According to the message, all goods ordered will be received by tomorrow." "He rushed me straight through all the red tape," Mika said, staring at the screen. As she came upon one item that was, quite frankly, extremely pricey. However, it would give her a definite edge. So, even though it meant she might have to cut back on some other things, Mika went ahead and purchased this specific item. A quantum drive. The highest grade starship engine on the market. They of course had 3 different sizes depending on the size of your vessel. Currently, exovol was only big enough for a Tier 1 quantum drive, the smallest available. However, as Mika was planning on expanding exovol's form, and there was always room for more expansion in the future, she went ahead and purchased the largest available, which was definitely a squeeze, even with the expansion that Mika was planning. However, having that extra power would always come in handy. When you're in space, the amount of energy that you're capable of producing can be a drastic change in the tides at any point. There are of course hard limitations on all equipment, the amount of energy that a laser can produce or a plasma rifle, the amount of energy that your shields are capable of sustaining an output. But the more energy that your ship is capable of producing, the less likely it is that you're going to run short on it. And the engines became more sustainable with the increase in size, each one becoming more durable than the last, which would only make it harder to negatively affect exovol's energy output. After nearly 2 hours of exhaustive searching through the purchase databanks, Mika finally made the last of her purchases, leaving very little money to spare from the original amount that she had to spend on weaponry for the ship. But it was enough to do something, rather than just putting it into pay for the crew members. It was enough to buy new weaponry. The weaponry that they had aboard exovol, even if they refurbished it, was still substandard when it came to issuing firearms to the members of the crew. But with the money that was left over, she could purchase enough personal arms to outfit her crew thoroughly, and ensure that in the event that somehow anyone did get on board, the crew wouldn't be defenseless. They'd be well armed. After making these final purchases, Mika's alarm began to ring, signaling her that the new people looking for work aboard a starship had gathered in the construction dock as ordered. So, Mika sealed the datapad, handing it back over to the individual running the bartering station, before beginning to make her way towards the construction dock along with Raimi. Now, a serious and determined look on her face. Hopefully, there would be some quality applicants in the mix. She needed good personnel on board the ship. She wouldn't be able to do it all herself. The higher the quality of her crew members, the better a chance she stood out there. But All she could do at this point was cross her fingers in hope. She wasn't going to have time to sit around and wait for higher quality applicants. She was going to have to take whoever was available from this first lot, and just hope that they were up to the task.